guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC 315 from Montreal, Canada. Yes, back in Canada for a pay-per-view card. Mohammed versus Della Maddalena. Random main event, but should be a competitive fight. Not a stacked pay-per-view card. Seems like when they come to Canada, it's never a stacked pay-per-view card. Obviously, there are a lot of Canadians on the fight card. We'll look at a few of those here on the main card. 2 title shots, though. We do got 2 title shots. One, obviously, being the main event that we just talked about here, and then Shevchenko versus Ferro. Interesting fight there. Should be competitive as well. I'll break down the main card like always. Provide free picks, leans, price talk, value plays, and more. We do got the 11-0 pay-per-view run on the line here this week, and it's average line plus money. Client card is always available, guys, after weigh-ins if you're interested. That's Friday, right? Friday afternoonish. That's when I release the card. Need to see weigh-ins before you release plays, right? You release a play on Wednesday, or you're betting yourself personally on Wednesday, and someone has a bad weight cut, then what, right? So it's something to always factor into your handicap, guys. I like to do stress that to clients. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. Currently handicapping the UFC, PGA, NHL playoffs and NBA playoffs, very low volume, but we are looking for spots there throughout the playoffs. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it's much appreciated. Please review and share. Most of my listeners to the podcast are over there on those platforms, so it is appreciated. If you could just review it and share, that would be awesome. It does help me out a ton. YouTube watchers, the OGs, like the video and subscribe. Thanks a ton for the support. Let's do a UFC Des Moines, Iowa recap. Let's do a recap. No surprise in the main event, right? Corey Sandhagen was the play. Maybe a little surprised how he did it, right? A second round finish. I did expect either a late finish in the fight or decision. So I kind of played both sides there. Hit the 450 finish prop on Corey, which was great. I was able to profit there in the main event. Corey looked great. Outstanding. He should get the title shot next. Right, winner of the Merab and O'Malley fight will be Corey's next fight, in my opinion here. The big surprise, and the reason why I did not profit on the card, Bo Nickel. Who saw that coming, right? Who saw that coming? Unbelievable. So it looks like the Paul Craig, remember he fought Paul Craig, and he did not look great in that fight, and it did carry over to this fight, and he was exposed by RDA. Very impressive, right? The Ritter. Wow. Brought the pressure. Knees. Was able to grapple with him on the ground as well. And Bo, he just looked like he did not want to get hit. Right? And you don't want to, be an MMA fighter and not get hit. But you got to understand, prior to this other fight, he wasn't really getting hit. So you really don't know. But when he took that knee, he just dropped like a bag of, what do they say? What are they, bag of sand or whatever they say? He just dropped quickly and didn't want to be in there. It was very, very telling, right? We learned a lot from that fight. One, it told me I don't believe he could ever be champion. I'm not saying, his career's over, he can never be a ranked guy. I just never seen, just from what I saw there, his striking and his ability, he just did not want to be in there when he got hit is what I took out of the fight. That dog wasn't there in him, right? When the fight kind of got scrappy and they were both throwing hands, he looked like he didn't want to be in there. That tells me a lot. That's hard to train for or hard to get to. Do you know what I'm saying? So it did tell me a lot, the fight. It told me that I don't believe he ever will be a champion. Possibly he could, obviously be a ranked guy, go back on a run. I'm not doubting that. But I don't see him having that championship mentality, or at least championship skill set or dog in him to get there one day. That's just my opinion. from what I've seen. So interesting. I definitely did not expect that. Like I mentioned, it ruined the card for me. So interesting to see. And we got to give some shout outs to the Ritter, like the Dutchman, right? Very impressive. Very impressive. He called out Sean Strickland. I wouldn't mind that fight. And, I expect the Ritter to get a highly ranked guy his next fight. Let's get right into this card, guys. Let's get right into this card. Shop around, like I always say. I have multiple sports books. Can't stress that enough, guys. Lines vary. Just go on like fight odds, right? Go on to fight odds. And just look at all the books. Like, I'll show, right? 5-10 books on there, whatever it has. And you just see how it just varies, right? Like Belal Muhammad all the way up to 200. You get at mine was 175 on some books, 188 on some books. Just varies so much. Can't stress that enough, guys. Let's get into this. Belal Muhammad minus 175 versus Jack Maddalena. Plus 150. Jack gets his big title shot, right? This was supposed to be Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov got injured. Jack's coming off that big win, right? Big win over Burns. Showed a lot in that fight. Some questions that need to be answered. He showed him that he's a dog. Right? He got hurt in the fight, continued to push forward, continued to go. Was exposed in the takedown department. He did get taken down a lot. Obviously, Belal will be able to do that as well and be able to exploit him there, in my opinion. So that's going to be something interesting to watch here, right? But back to Jack here, just a resume, right? It hasn't shown that he could beat a guy like Belal yet, to me, right? Obviously, the Burns win was nice, but that's Burns at the end of his career here, guys, right? Prior to that, we have wins over Kevin Holland, Hafez, Brown, Roberts. Right, it's just very low-level guys, right? Obviously undefeated in the UFC, impressive, nice streak here. Just a lot of lower-level guys in there, right? Besides Burns, you could say Kevin Holland's. I'm not gonna say he's a lower-level guy, but he's in that mid-tier to lower, right? And when he stepped up in competition against Burns, we saw a few things that were exposed, but we also learned, like I mentioned, he's a dog. He'll continue to fight, which you love to see, right? Love to see. We haven't seen Jack in a 5-rounder. So that's something also to mention here. Burns was able to take him down, I think, total 7 times, guys, in that fight. That is concerning for me. That is concerning for me to back Jack here because Belal will mix in the takedown. That's what he's so good at. Mix in the takedowns with his striking. He sets up his striking to mix in the takedowns, right? You saw it against Edwards. Right, obviously looking at resumes, Belal has a great resume. Obviously beating Edwards, Thompson, Luque, Brady, Burns, knocked out Brady too in that fight. And Belal, what I really like about him, he's really improving his boxing. Great boxing, right? He outboxed at times Leon Edwards, right? Knocked out Brady. Now, obviously he's not known for the knockouts. He's not known for power on the feet, but he does have the great volume, and it's just the pressure and the ability to wrestle. He's very good at everything, guys. Maybe not the best at one thing, but very good at multiple MMA skill sets. That's what makes him so dangerous. And then add that pressure to it. And just Jack's never seen anything like that. Right? So very difficult for me to get to Jack here. You could say, yes, Jack will have a boxing advantage here. Sure. But is Belal going to stand at range and box with Jack? No. He's a smart fighter, Belal. He's going to bring the pressure, mix in the wrestling, grappling, and he should be able to take him down. Like I mentioned, Burns, later in his career here, took him down 7 times. So I expect Belal to do the same thing. Jack will obviously scramble and get up. He has shown that he was able to do that in the Burns fight. That's why he won the fight, right? He was able to hurt Burns too on the feet. So Belal will have to be slightly worried about getting hurt on the feet, right? We have seen Belal before get hurt a couple times on the feet. The Leon Edwards fight earlier in his career as well. I forgot who he was against, but he did get knocked. He did get finished in that fight. So, Belal obviously will going to have to use his fight IQ, which he has been during this crazy run that he's been on. So I don't expect him to just abandon that and say, oh, I want to box with Jack to prove that I'm the better boxer. No, I just don't expect that from Belal. And I feel confident at this price to even get to that, right? If I look at an outcome here, it's a little difficult to back an outcome with 100%. Nothing's 100%. Let's say 80 to 90%, which is what I like to look for before making a bet. I can see Belal winning this by decision. He is known to win decisions, right? Belal the Decision Muhammad. You hear that nickname going around at times. But there could also be a later stoppage. Like I mentioned, we haven't seen Jack deep into fights. So that's a little concerning. I can see, a later stoppage in this fight that is possible as well. Like a TKO style. Belal's on top and just ground and pounding him. That's very doable here. So I'm not super confident in an outcome here, even though I do lean the decision. Right? We've seen Belal win a ton of decisions prior. So, yeah, Belal's the play here. I can't get the Jack. There's not even a lot of value there, plus 150 to get the Jack to be excited about anyways. I just haven't seen this from Jack. I haven't seen Jack fight a guy like Belal. And, I have a list. If you guys have been listening to me for a while, I have a list of don't bet against fighters. There's not too many guys on that list. Belal recently made that list, and it was when he beat, was it Brady? Yeah, when he beat Brady, I believe. That's when I had him on don't bet against list. And even the Edwards fight. I leaned Edwards. I don't believe I bet it, if I recall, but I did lean Edwards in that fight to bounce back or to win that fight. And Belal just proved everyone wrong again. So I've learned not to bet against Belal. I have in the past. It has hurt me. So I'll be backing Belal here in this fight. I do believe it's a good matchup for him. Co-main, Faro, minus 140 versus Shevchenko, plus 125. That plus 125 looks intriguing, right? With Valentina. I know it's later in her career, and you're a little worried about passing of the torch, right? Faro is the next one in line. I get it, right? I get if she can keep this fight standing, she probably wins the fight on points due to Faro being very good on the feet. Excellent volume at just under 7 significant strikes per minute compared to Valentina's just over 3. That concerns me if Valentina can't get this fight down to the ground. Right? You expect this fight to go over in the rounds, most likely to go the distance. The only way I feel this fight doesn't go the distance is Shevchenko gets like a submission. Right? Faro's not known for the power. She dances around, moves well, and just sticks and moves and outpoints you. That's how she wins her fights. Right? I think the big battle will be Valentina trying to get this fight down to the ground, but then you got Faro's 93% takedown defense. That's going to be the big battle, and that's fun to watch. Some people may think that's boring, but looking at that skill set of Valentina trying to take her down and see how that plays out, it is fun for me to watch. So that will be interesting to see if Valentina, because I believe if Valentina just stands and bangs and stands and strikes, I think Faro outpoints her. Right? We'd love to see that Valentina still has it. Obviously, she's later in her career, and she has slowed down a little bit. She's not that unbeatable source again, right? Grasso proved that. But impressive win versus Grasso last time out. She was able to use her wrestling and grappling there. Right? So this is why this plus money is very intriguing. If I had to bet this fight, it could only be a smaller unit on Valentina Shevchenko at plus money here. But she's going to have to get this fight down to the ground, in my opinion. She's going to have to get the fight down to the ground. Is she going to be able to do that successfully on multiple occasions? Time will tell. No one knows that, right? The over in rounds, fight goes the distance, is definitely a look for me more than a side, in my opinion. I just have a hard time seeing where this fight gets finished. Like I mentioned, maybe submission or ground and pound by Valentina, but Faro's not knocking her out on the feet, unless it's like a wild head kick that she gets caught with or something, right? Which is low odds. So, yeah, that's going to be more of my favorite play, the over here. A side hasn't made my client card yet. It could. I watched the weigh-ins and a few other things here. Obviously, my client cards at times look a lot different by Friday and Saturday than doing this on Wednesday or Thursday. So that's why I take advantage of that. get that high winning percentage. Interesting one. Looking forward to this fight. Even though it's not talked about a ton, it should be very competitive, guys. Aldo minus 200 versus Zahabi plus 160. What a step up. What a dream fight for Zahabi, fighting in front of his home crowd, right? Who would have thought this fight ever would have been scheduled? Nobody. Right? A year or two ago? No. But Zahabi went on this very nice run, and am I going to say he deserves an Aldo? Maybe not, but he deserves a big-time fight, and he's getting it. They're awarding him that big-time fight. And if there's ever time to beat an Aldo, it's now. He's lost 2 of his last 3. Older in his career. Sure, Zahabi's live here. Can I get to him? Probably not. But he's been fighting well, right? 5-fight win streak over obviously a lot lower level guys than Aldo. I get that. I definitely get that. But, fighting in Canada, does it affect them? I always mention it, guys. Fighting at home is not always an advantage, right? You got the nerves. Some people don't. Some people, it's great. It pumps them up. It gets them going, But there's also factors that you can look at. The nerves, fighting in front of home, the obligations, more obligations, friends, family, media, etc. So there are a lot of other things too to mention. It's not like, he's fighting at home, big advantage. No. Not at all. So with Aldo, right, how many more fights does he have left? Right, he's still just fighting guys. It's crazy. He takes fights of up-and-coming guys on win streaks, and just fights them. He doesn't care. I would like to see him kind of slow down, take a couple, legendary fights, and just kind of go off in the sunset. But hey, he still has something. So we're going to see if Zahabi is, that deer in the headlights, like that Jonathan Martinez fight or that Font fight, or, is Zahabi ready for this step up? This is a fight I can definitely see going over the 2.5 rounds. Fight goes to the distance. That will be my favorite play here. I'm going to lean Aldo. Don't think Zahabi's that guy. I don't think he's a top 5 guy or anything like that. Very well trained, of course, with his brother. But I'll be staying away from a side here, but I do like the over 2.5 rounds. That probably will be a client play, guys. Grosso plus 200 versus Silva minus 250. Oh, that plus 200 is tempting, guys. It is tempting, even though the matchup is not great for Grosso. Women's MMA plus 200 when you think it's going to be a competitive fight. Always a look. Always something you have to look at. I hope Grosso mixes in some wrestling here. I think that's going to be her path. Problem is, Silva's takedown defense is very good. 91% takedown defense. Right? And you know how good Grosso's boxing is? But Silva actually probably is the better striker here. Right? 64% defense on the feet is very impressive from Silva. Doesn't get hit, moves very well. I get why she's favored here. Just minus 250 is very difficult to get to, guys. Very difficult. When I see Grosso, as good as she is, right? Better resume. Could very well win this fight. Has a grappling advantage. The question is, can she get it to the ground? That's the big question here. And when I see that 91% takedown defense, and I know Silva moves very well, and that's part of the reason why, because I think her defense is very good on the feet. It's going to be hard to take her down, in my opinion. I'm going to have to lean Silva here, but this is a fight I will not be betting due to price. If I had to, it would be a small unit on Grosso just because I expect it to be very competitive. And a plus 200, definitely value. This is a value alert for sure on Grosso plus 200. Favorite is the over 2.5 rounds again. I'm liking a lot of these over 2.5 rounds. It's looking like on this card. That would be something I would have to look at here. Last one we'll talk about here, guys, and it's a weird one. The problem is Saint Denis was supposed to fight Alvarez. That was going to be a banger of a fight, right? Now we get a local Canadian guy saving the card. Propolic, plus 700. Saint Denis, minus 1,200, guys. Apparently, they offered Saint Denis multiple fighters. He turned a lot down until he agreed to this. So, I don't like that from Saint Denis, but here we are. He was training for Alvarez. I get it. I think Alvarez would have won that fight. I would have bet Alvarez on that fight. I was hoping I would get plus money on it, but hey, the fight got canceled. That's unfortunate. I was looking forward to betting Alvarez, but here we are. It's a fight Saint Denis should win. should win. Prebovic, I don't know a ton about him, but I did watch a little tape on him. He was fighting in the regional scene. He did win 4 of his last 5 fights on the regional scene, some knockouts in there as well, so they gave him the call. And this guy did fight in the UFC before. And he was 0-2. Now, it was years ago. He's 35. Some say that he's fighting his best right now. So is he live to win at +7? I would say no. I think Saint Denis does probably get this fight down to the ground and kind of expose him there. That's where I can see he has the advantage, because Saint Denis has shown at times if he keeps the fight standing, he can get rocked on the feet. So I expect Saint Denis to win this fight. Is it going to be quick in the first round? Maybe not. This Canadian guy's never been finished, guys, on the feet. He has been submitted, looking at his record in the past, but it was a while ago. Long time ago. So, yeah, he could hang around. He can hang around, a round or two, maybe even go the distance. That's why it's just hard to bet Saint Denis here. If you want some value, you can look at, Saint Denis by decision. There's a lot of value there. A lot of people just think he's going to run through him in round 1 or 2. Maybe not. Maybe the Canadian does hang around and prove that chin is durable. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Not a great card from UFC standpoint. Obviously, if you like the Canadian fighters, there's a lot there. A couple in the prelims, which will be on the client card. Obviously, Mike Malott is back there. Jasmine Jusidivis is fighting. Andrade, that's a good fight for a big fight for her. So, yeah, there are some other good fights on the prelims that I'll be looking at. But this is not a great pay-per-view card. Obviously, there are some good fights, competitive fights, intriguing fights, 2 title fights, like I mentioned. So, always excited for a pay-per-view card. Like I would say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.